prevention.
Doug Shadell is in the fraud prevention business. He runs an AARP fraud fighter call center in Washington State.
We have 60 or 70 volunteers who are calling people all across the United States who meet profiles of who we think are most likely to be targeted, and they're giving them a peer counseling message.
Shadell is an expert in consumer and investment fraud, including the tactics of con men and the psychology of fraud victims.
One of the biggest challenges we have in the fraud prevention business is called the illusion of invulnerability. No one thinks they're going to be taken. Everyone thinks they're too smart. You probably think you're too smart, but you're not. Given the right situation, given the right con artist, anyone can be taken. I've been taken before. There is no automatic guarantee. And the problem is, if you never think you're going to be taken, you'll never take any steps to inoculate yourself. And that makes you really vulnerable. In the context of investor fraud, it would be, we've got this great opportunity, but it's only going to last today. We only have one of them, or, you know, there's all these people who want it, and you create urgency. What you're creating is fear of loss. And if you go back through our evolution, we are hardwired to be afraid of losing things.
Of course, fear of losing things doesn't sound academic enough. So behavioral economists call it loss aversion. In a well-known experiment at Cornell, a group of students was given new coffee mugs. They were then asked at what price they'd be willing to sell them. The average answer? About $7. Another group of students was shown the same mugs and asked what they'd be willing to pay for them. Their response? About $3. Loss aversion has us value what we already possess far more than we would otherwise value it.
Loss aversion is a much more powerful force than the accumulation of wealth. And the con artists don't read behavioral economics. They just know what works, and that's what works.
Hello, John. How you doing today? You mailed in my company a postcard a few weeks back requesting information on penny stocks that had huge upside potential with very little downside risk. Does that ring a bell?
The pitch is that you don't want to lose this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for this car, this real estate deal, or even this stock trade.
Now, right now, John, the stock trades over the counter at 10 cents a share. And by the way, John, our analysts indicate it could go a heck of a lot higher than that. Your profit on a mere $6,000 investment would be upwards of $60,000.
A good con man can get you emotionally connected to a dream so much that you feel regret if you don't get in on it.
We have done studies of the general population and victims. And the victims are much more likely to have experienced a negative life event. They're much more likely to have a heavier debt load than the general population. And we believe all of those things contribute to this goal of getting people vulnerable, getting them excited, getting them motivated to act without thinking too much.
What Shadell calls putting them in the ether. What is the ether? Think about the first time you were in love, or the last time someone cut you off in traffic.
The sneaky thing about heightened emotional state is it's not just excitement. It can also be anger, or bewilderment or frustration. Either way, you're in this unstable world in which it's easier to be manipulated. I've had several con men tell me the best person to call is the person who just lost $50,000.
Understanding the emotional state the fraudster wants you in is the best way to recognize a bad deal before you fall for it.
There's no deal out there that can't wait 24 hours for the ether to subside, for you to do some due diligence, maybe check out the offer, and make a rational decision.